Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the Sickcast, aka the Siblings and Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Donnie, joined by my buddies slash co-hosts, Noah and Thomas. Whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first-timer just testing the waters, we are all Siblings in Cardboard. Guys, what have you been up to since the last time we talked?
Skirmish.
Skirmish?
Yeah,
Another one?
Skirmish.
Actually, like, other than watching some anime, my entire weekend was basically kind of flesh and blood related. So,
Not a bad weekend.
Traveled down to like my hometown out in the middle of nowhere and participated in a sealed skirmish and squeaked out first place. Like, it wasn't a very big tournament, but and when I say squeaked out, it's like all of my games came down to the last card, and literally the finals was me and Noah, and it came down to not only the last card, literally the last point of value.
Dude, that's awesome.
I was at 1, and he had a reverse polarity script out, meaning all my cards only block for 2, and his last card in deck was a 0 for 2 data link. And then he was at 2, and I had no cards in deck. I blocked with my last card, and I had 1 card in arsenal, and it was a 0 for 3 data link.
It was an expedite, but
expedite,
thing.
yeah, 0 for 3 expedite. Yeah, it was just it was a 0 cost attack that I stuck there because I'm like, this is gonna literally come down to the last card, and it did.
So, did you guys like coordinate not saying anything in any of the group chats that we're part of so that I wouldn't know about this until you actually came on the podcast? Because I didn't know that you had won and that Noah was in the finals until right this moment.
I think I maybe
What's up with
mentioned
that?
it in one
What
of
is
the
up with
chats
that?
I wasn't gonna go to the skirmish on Sunday because I had all 3 of my Teklo cores.
No, I didn't see that.
Justin,
Come on, guys. I need you to communicate a little bit better.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, dude. That's awesome.
Well,
Congratulations.
Justin or that one Kano gave me a bro deal on his Teklo core, and so I
Okay.
got my
Good
third
deal.
one. And
That's cool too.
Yeah, so I've got all 3 of them. They're beautiful. They're gonna go into my -IO deck. And then all of my Sunday was watching anime and watching the Realm Rumble. And man, I really regret
That
not
was a lot.
going. That tournament was amazing.
Dude, we have got to talk to our local LGSs about getting some of those Realm Invitationals going because I would love to have an opportunity to qualify for that. Can you those mats? You saw those mats, right? Those custom play mats with your name on it for the Realm Invitational.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was beautiful. Those were awesome. I've got to get an opportunity to actually do that.
So I've already been talking to some of the card guys, and we are going to make sure it happens, whether we have to pay for the prizing and stuff ourselves to make sure that Georgia gets one.
Cool.
And then if they don't come around to doing it, we'll make it a siblings and cardboard event and get one of the LGSs to host it. We'll make something happen. There will be some Realm events happening in Georgia for 2024.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So for sure, I will.
We got to get that locked in.
I will fund it myself if I have to.
Or we could start actually promoting the Patreon and see if we could get people listening to maybe help us out with that. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
That's what
Shameless self-plug and all.
Stream another game and stuff. Like, all of my funds went into the stream. So usually when I make money off of this kind of stuff, it just goes right back into the same hobby
sure.
anyway.
For sure. What'd you get up to, Noah? Anything else?
Spent a lot of money on Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I've spent some money on some products for content for the new Pack Crack series, or just to have in general. But some first edition Monarch Everfest and some WTR Unlimited, and then a random box of Dust Till Dawn, which we'll talk about.
Got myself a box of Unlimited Welcome to Wrath so that I could get the Squizzy and Floof.
Got plenty of Squizzies. I got plenty of Floofs. I had to bribe them to give me a playset, but they were so nice. So I locked in some Squizzy and Floofs and some Jack-o'-lanterns actually too. Don't know why they
if you need any more, Donnie, I've got some for you.
Yeah, I've got 1 red, blue, and yellow just because I bought that 1 box. But yeah, I really would like to have a playset. So yeah, we can talk about that later.
Cool.
The Squizzy and Floof, that was a buy a box promo as well.
Yes, and Crack Bobble too.
So I think the suggestion is just to spend a certain amount of money on Flesh and Blood in the store, and then you get the Squizzy and Floof as a promo.
It was $80 at the particular store we were at, which was pretty much the price of most of the boxes, some or less.
So I just maybe got myself a Heart of Findle, and
Yeah,
it's there as long as I don't open the box.
I've
So,
enjoyed.
look, for real though, are you going to be doing any of the sibling rivalry pack openings, Thomas? You going to get in on that
I
too?
was actually just going to probably save it for limited in the future at some point.
It's a good
Actually,
limited set.
I like
one
Book and
of
Wrap
the
limited.
one of the best limited sets. It's like a triangle, a little bit of who beats who, but it's still pretty fun.
I think there's 4 of them.
It's a
Yeah.
square of a triangle.
Yeah.
Well, you know
There's
they,
4
what they
sides.
say.
The triangle with 4 sides.
Not all squares are triangles, but all triangles are squares, kind of a thing. It has to work that way.
Okay, so yeah, let's hop into our market minute because I really want to talk about Realm Rumble.
Oh yeah, there's got to be some good stuff coming.
Weirdly enough, well, I mean, I guess there is and there isn't, right? It's kind of quiet. I don't really know what to make of it, right? You'd assume, right, just like I would, that Ninja would be on the rise, and I'd see these crazy spike in some of these cards. Maybe I don't, and then you'd think Azalea has been winning a little bit more on the map again. You'd think you'd be seeing some bigger, rise in the Skullbone cross, but nothing. Like nothing has jumped really astronomically. The warrior stuff's still high. I've been looking at that, and Bolden Blade kind of came back down a little bit.
Not surprising.
Just a little bit.
People overhyped hard on Kasai.
That card is the hype will go back up again once more spoilers hit. So it's like a weird lull. But there's Christmas and stuff as well. I feel like it's a really weird time. Like the market isn't jumping like I thought it would for some of these things. But then again, some are. And it wouldn't be what you think. So let's go ahead and one card. I've talked about this card, I think, to Thomas before. But Hold the Line has shot up. It's probably in response, as Thomas pointed out when we talked about it. I was thinking more royal gold, cash-in type stuff. Weird speculation, heavy hitters thing. But no, Art of War users as well, right? A lot of Art of War users right now in the meta. Leviah uses it. I believe Reinhardt uses it, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't.
Well, no. So, and just what cards
as well.
is it good against? It's good against Art of War and Blood Rush Fellow, or like the 2 really notable cards.
And so you get value out of that, right? There's a lot of card draw coming, at least usually
and
draw 2.
Tome of Findle.
And Tome.
Also that.
There you go. At which the prevent helps you sometimes for the following breakpoint. So it's kind of nice because you get the block 2 and then you get the prevent. So only on some dragons, but I can see why it shot up. So it's at $13 right now. Per Hold the Line.
That's crazy.
It has gone up quite a bit from its $4 or $5 range. It looks like it's gonna stay. Rainbow foils not much affected, $14. I mean, that's still high, but the variance isn't that high. I want to point out again that Crown of Providence, and we'll talk about maybe why. I shot up. This is the DTD version, by the way. I mean, it's in some cases worth more than the rainbow foil, and I don't know how.
That's so weird.
What?
But it's at $99 right now, and then the next, there's only one. The next one's at $119. None have sold above 100. 100 seems to be that baseline, but rainbow foils are also slammed at 100 as well. The cards are identical in price. In some cases, you can get a rainbow foil.
I think Crown of Providence is like the staple of all staples.
And
even more than Tunic.
Yeah.
It's the most easily playable card in literally every deck except for Ninja. And then if you were broke and didn't have access to Mask of Momentum, Crown of Providence still doesn't feel bad.
Well, weirdly enough,
if you can afford a crown, you can afford a mask.
Cheaper, yeah.
It is. If you had to buy one, you'd buy the crown, unless you were specifically building Ninja.
I see what he's saying because it's more universal. It would fit the need for many decks rather
than
if you
that bad
could
boy in until you get your Mask of Momentum, and I think you'll still be pretty competitive.
It just is kind of strange, and so I guess it's just preference whether you want a rainbow foil or not because the prices are smack on each other.
Gold foil.
Gold foils are actually down to $250.
Gold foil.
Oh, gold foil,
which are retired now.
Yeah, they are retired. So they're They just went up.
I bet they did a lot. You know when they got rid of the gold foil tunics, when they stopped putting those out, LSS posted a video of someone shredding all the remaining ones.
Yep.
They're just shoving $11,000 a card into a paper shredder.
Well, I mean, that one that survives, it's going to be worth a lot.
Imagine those poor
that was
gold
them
foil
keeping their
crowns.
word.
Oh man,
Wonder,
I
you
wouldn't
think
do
they'll
it.
do another video like that?
I hope
I
so.
hope
That made me laugh because I don't really see cards as that kind of value, and so it was just funny watching all those gold foil cards just.
I don't know if I could watch
hurts.
it.
It hurts.
I don't know if I could watch that. That sounds painful. I don't know.
I know everyone who has a gold foil tunic, they were just like rubbing their hands together every time one of them went in the shredder because it's just the value of their
That's
card
just
going up.
I mean, you got to respect LSS for keeping their word. I mean,
Yep.
They said that they weren't going to be any more printed, any more distributed, and then they showed themselves destroying all the remaining copies. That's pretty open. I mean, that's a pretty good way to do business, in my opinion.
Oh, it was them shredding. Okay.
Yeah, they were shredding
You
the
made
remaining gold foil
Yeah.
promos.
Well, but they're not allowed to distribute. So I mean, I thought it was some random person who bought them all and then just. I was like,
LSS
what
shredded
kind
like
of
14
crazy?
of them, and they
And we're
posted a
like,
video.
Elon Musk
applaud
played Flesh
that?
and Blood.
I was gonna say, like, hold on, it's a great business tactic, but it's like, wow, it's like, no,
Yeah,
that makes sense. If you have to stand by your word, you have to stand by it. The gold, they're worthless because they're not distributed. They're only that rare because they were distributed. Like that's the caveat. I know that's crazy, but like that's how it has to work. Otherwise, there's no value in it.
Sure.
But let's talk about it. Dust Till Dawn has actually shot up. It had a great release, and then a really fast fall, and downwards of 270, 260 a case. You probably could have snagged it for. And I mean, I'm just looking at TCG. I mean, some of the TCG lows hit down to 280, which
What
I
am I
think
going
is
to do for the graphic for this? Am I going to just put like a cardboard box on the screen?
You could.
So yeah, so the sealed product of Dust Till Dawn is creeped back up again.
Yeah, it's up to about 320 right now for the case, and then usually like upwards of 350 is where you're probably going to start seeing it at on eBay as well. Like it's it's going back up. And I'm not surprised by it if none of the artist cards have been found, or all of the artist cards have been found, which I don't think they have been.
I think there's still a couple more.
Yeah, there's still a
and so there's always the chase for that. This is still the print. Whatever's being distributed is still that print.
well, there's not
Marvel
going to
Angels-
be a second print of Dust Till Dawn.
So there is some scarcity to the set, but also it's driving some of the cards. Maybe it is. The price is up. Prism is getting some hype. Fino did post that tweet about the game breaking card that's going to supposedly save Prism. And I don't know if that's what's driving it up or not. But some of the figments have started to creep back up.
It
Figment
looked
of
solid
Protection,
when Lucas played it on stream too.
and that's without this magical card apparently. But Figment of Protection is thoroughly back up to the point that it's at 174 now for the Marvel. And I know, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
They were
174?
selling sub 100 in November 24th, and they
That's
are back
more than
to
it. That's more than it
174.
costed when it on pre-release weekend. Speculation on pre-release weekend was 120. Wow,
they have skyrocketed, especially
I mean,
Protection.
that's
I
crazy.
guess
So-
the Prism fanboys are coming back out of the woodwork.
I think New Prism
If there's
is
hope.
a ton of fun to play. If she's actually good, like
Yeah.
I could see it.
I mean, as a fellow Prism main, I've been tracking this for a long time, and I've got the cards. I'm ready to go. So I'm hoping, because if Prism gets popular, I have to retire Dory. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to play through that, and I will just play Prism. I'm not going to try and beat the monster.
You don't want to slam your Dawnblade
Nope.
into Spectra?
No, I'm good. I'm not doing that. Even with Chorus of Iron Song, that's okay. Like I think
Oh,
There's
I'd
always
much rather
the
Prism.
Angels, not the Spectra.
that's true. I'd much
Got
rather
time
just
snap
play
potions.
the Prism. Yeah, I'm good. Mm-mm.
Oh man, imagine having to run time snap potions for Spectra. That sounds brutal.
Ooh,
No, thank you.
We'll Prism and CC, KO and Blitz. That's my goal. But no, so Dust Till Dawn's up, Archangel Protection is up. The Figment of your edition, Cold Foil is up as well. Obviously, the main three. So it'd be Rebirth, Erudition, and Protection. So Erudition is back up to like 120 a card, and it was also in the 90s not too long ago. And then we've got Archangel of Rebirth back to 100, 118, and it was also in the 80s but a few weeks ago. And so this is the Marvels, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
The Figments haven't necessarily shifted too crazily, although Figment of Protection, the regular Majestic, is a $20 Majestic, just so we're all aware. The non-Marvel Protection is still $20 as a Majestic. You only need one, which is cool, but still decently priced. So there is some life coming to the Dust Till Dawn set, and yeah, it's got a high price tag, but it's kind of starting to be worth it again. Also, look at Scowling Fleshbag. Went up as well. So there is a lot of rejuvenized spikes. Empyrean will spike if Prism gets popular. If Vincent gets popular, Dyadic will spike. Dream State will eventually be useful someday.
So too.
That's going to be the staple chess piece. Although we will talk about Carrion Husk because it is on the list for a reason. But obviously Dyadic is a great chess piece. But I want to point out Carrion Husk because it has fallen to the point where it says 65 right now on TCG. 65. I know that's lightly played. Let me specify. Lightly
played.
We don't know what lightly played means, but they're $65 rainbow foil Carrion Husk. So what not all people are like monsters with lightly played. Me and Joel have talked about this. A good friend of mine who also ships cards. Our lightly plaids are like near mint.
I would never
everybody.
buy a lightly played.
I wouldn't either.
Had like
unless
very
I was the one
documentation.
Selling it. But realistically, yes, $85 is the low. I've seen them down as low as 70 on some places if you want to shop around. Guys, even if you're not a Leviathan player, think about down the road. There's a whole nother shadow set coming out. This is a 6-block chess piece. Yeah. I want you, if you've been thinking, maybe I'll go get a nice rent. It's very, very affordable. Even the cold foils are down to 187. They were 300 maybe about a month or two ago, and they're down below 2 right now. Yeah, a lot of Monarch first ed.
Let one Vincent card come out in the expansion slot and watch it spike.
That's what go ahead. I'm not gonna buy any up yet.
If Vincent turns into an aggro deck, Carrion Husk will be back.
So just
for sure.
Hey, I think that's a good we always talk about cards that are trending up. I want to talk about something that you can pick up now that's trending down. I think it will trend back up, but this is definitely the time to pick it up. If you were ever on get those, somebody buy those light plates, because I might, just to prove Thomas wrong. and show them that light. Show them that. Oh shoot! Speaking of gambling, I just forgot I was bidding on Judge Packs. You just reminded me.
Unopened Judge Packs.
Unopened Judge Packs.
It's actually usually not a bad gamble, right? Your potential to lose is like $80.
Yeah, you know it's so crazy. You just reminded me because I've been outbid literally just now. I know this is so sad life, but this is like
this man Judge never Pack 1 and 2 speculating card games.
It's a Judge Pack 1 and 2. Like, what am I gonna do?
Before Flesh and Blood, it was Pokemon. Before Pokemon, it was basketball cards. Before basketball cards, it was Yu-Gi-Oh.
What? But it's all for the love of the game at the end of it.
There's something about that new cardboard smell.
Dude, I had like this distinct core memory of like both my tables in my house being full of Panini Prisms.
Oh, I remember that. There was just
stacks of basketball cards.
Oh, they tried to snipe me, but I got them. I won it. So Judge Pack 1, I secured.
Congratulations.
Okay, that's content. You're gonna open that on and post
that will be a Pack Crack series. Don't worry, it'll fall in there. I might have my mom open that since I'll be going to California on the 9th. I'll be doing some recording out there. So I might save that and have her open it. and see if she can win the Art of War for me when Judge Series Season 2 right now is what I'm bidding on. So,
Well, good
but
luck
that
on
does
this.
end it on the market minute, so that I don't have to be the focal point gambling. Carrie and Huss, please go pick it up.
Yeah.
Also, your warmongers too. If Azalea keeps doing this, the warmongers are going to keep fluctuating. Get them low because they're going to constantly spike.
I don't want to
just
play
too
that
good.
card, so I'm not going to buy that card.
Nobody
I'll
does.
just avoid decks that want to play that card.
Oh, I think that's a good enough max bid there. 3, 2. Yeah, they tried to snipe me again. I got it. I got both.
Nice.
All right.
Well, before we move on too far from the market minute, the first piece of news that we got from last week, it was a bit of hype on Twitter. Star City Games is now offering a Flesh and Blood buy list. That's going to be pretty good, right?
So what does that mean exactly?
I took a look at
that. Star City Games, starcitygames.com, hashtag no free ads, like they say on Flesh and Pod. It's a major TCG buying and selling site. They've mainly focused on Magic the Gathering stuff forever. I mean, they had a huge tournament series a while back, but that all died for whatever reason. But the fact that they are now picking up Flesh and Blood singles and selling singles and selling more singles, I feel like that's a really positive sign for the market and really positive for, Flesh and Blood in North America, because Star City is a huge distributor. They are a huge LGS.
Oh, so they will buy from you and you like mail them cards,
Yeah.
or you just sell them at events?
No.
Well,
You can actually go to the website, punch in the cards. Okay, I've sold to them for Magic before.
That's cool.
You go to their buy list on the website. You do. Still feel like I'm giving a free ad here, but you go to the website, you punch in the buy list, you list out which cards you have,
I feel like I'm
and
setting you up for the free ad.
I mean,
I'm just
really?
ignorant. Okay, I get it.
But
it gives you an
they'll show
opportunity
a price.
to
They'll
sell
show you a
cards.
price of each card. Yeah.
It like a no hassle place to go and sell cards. I did go take a look at it, and I think it's great. Flesh and Blood is doing very well in a market. As somebody, I look at it all the time. But I mean, MinMax is doing very well with their singles as well. That is a direct competitor, I would assume. And so I think it's great for them to jump in on it. I think they have to. I think it is a nod, like you're saying, that Flesh and Blood is a very robust industry. And so I like it.
The game is growing.
I'll plug them again. I bought both Judge Packs from Star City Games, so on eBay. So thank you guys for allowing me to bid on this. That was super fun.
I think it's good because it'll help like fight scammers too, because if they're driving the price to be a certain value, or they're driving it down, and you could safely sell to them, it's going to be harder for scammers to actually get anything.
So I like you pointed that out, and so I looked at some of their prices, and I'm not gonna tell you one way whether they're low or not. It is a place where you're able to dump all your stuff at once, no questions asked. So I think that having that option is totally fine. And if they do end up doing it, like you said, to be able to lower the ceiling on the market a little bit because they were able to acquire it at such a low floor, which is what I would do if I got things at this low of a floor, then yeah, it actually does. It creates an environment where you can have this really competitive price because you're getting it for a very good deal, and everybody's getting something, but you're also not running that risk of being scammed. You're buying it from this place. Yeah. It's coming from a distribution, and so it is a way to really get into that industry. You in this,
if you sell to a store, you're going to get
always get way less than if you try to haggle it. But some people don't want to do the whole Facebook thing. Some people don't want to do that. Some people just want to say, "Hey, look, just make this painless." You're
paying a convenience fee. Is what?
Yes, definitely.
It's a steep convenience fee, but you're paying a convenience fee to sell everything in one place like that.
But it is good. I think it's good for the market. I think it does speak dividends that it is it's a good profitable game. I mean, I'm sure LSS is being profitable, and the events they're hosting show that as well. Events,
there's clear signs.
I mean,
let's
just say they are dumping tons back into the game, and I mean it really shows. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw the vanilla turnout for one of their skirmishes. There was like a 76 player. I mean, like huge. I mean, like on a scrimmage, Like that's
And we're happy if we get
that's good
16
stuff, man.
here in Georgia.
I know,
Really,
like
though.
Georgia's rough
that's
sometimes.
super cool. They had everybody holding their cards up. It was a cool picture to see. So no, they're doing big things. The game is good. The game
go
is
Manila.
growing well. We love it. We love to see it.
All right. So as far as like news goes, we've got quite a bit. Do we want to talk about Realm, or do we want to kind of talk about some of the LSS official stuff that's been coming out?
Let's do the LSS stuff first, because we can fill as much time as we need to on the Realm. There was a lot to talk about there.
So I think
let's get the official stuff out of the way.
I think anyone who's trying to earn experience into Pro Tour, I think like this weekend is like the first weekend that's going to most likely be in that 90-day cycle. So this is when you want to start slamming your armories. Hopefully you participate in the skirmishes if you're trying to get in by XP. You are competing on global XP, I'm pretty sure, for both lifetime and 90-day. So it's even more competitive than it is for like trying to get on XP on nationals.
Okay, that makes sense, because of the increase in battle hardens and callings. There's going to be more PTIs given out. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
they're going to limit the invites for the other avenues of entry.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's something to consider, especially for those lifetime XPers that are just, floating at, the 45th to 50 range. You really want to like work on that. And you need to start grinding, because people are going to grind against you. In the 90-day, if you're close, keep an eye on it. And then RTN got announced.
Yep.
We don't have events everywhere, but I know some places are starting to already say that they have an event on so-and-so weekend. And that's going to be from February 17th to March 10th. So they've given us a huge heads up on the RTN weekend. Like literally 3 months. 4 months.
I think, I don't know how many bigger tournaments and who's threatening LL in between that time, but do you guys think it's to kind of keep people in the know that if you need to have a backup hero, with the new LL rules, or maybe this is just their new policy going forward to kind of give you that space and time?
There could be one more living legend in CC in that time, but I kind of doubt it, right? All the heroes are pretty low except for maybe Dash.
Fi
jumped up quite a bit.
What, high 7, right? 7.9
something like that.
734.
Yeah, Dash is at 698. Unless she just picked up a few this past weekend. I don't know if she did or not.
It's just a thought, like if they're trying to give you more notice, because now there is that potential. Maybe this time it isn't possible, but I actually think it's a great thing if you give them a heads up. Hey, here's what's going on between these two periods. Your hero might not make it to RTN, so maybe you're not
like
playing
the most open meta.
Azalea in that RTN.
This is a very open meta, which also means that points should distribute hopefully pretty evenly. Dromai will slow down a bit. Dash will hover closer and closer to Living Legend, and Fi now jumped up a lot after winning Worlds. But I think the meta we're in now will be the meta we see for Pro Tour, and that because of the timing, that's the meta RTN will be, because Pro Tour is the 3rd week of March. So the RTN season will probably be a divining rod of what Pro Tour is supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm looking. Sorry, it took me a second. I was looking at the roadmap for 2024 that was shown at Worlds. February is when RTN season is starting. The next season after that is going to be ProQuest around April, and then Nats in June. So between now and February, there's nothing on the organized play chart that's going to give LL points.
There's Calling Queenstown.
Yeah, but that's in January. Yeah, so that's 100 points, right?
There's like
I don't think there's a chance of anything hitting LL before RTN.
I think like if Fi wins like 3 battle hardens and the Calling, maybe he gets pretty close.
Yeah, that's possible. I guess there are some battle hardens between here and there, right?
I think there's a battle harden literally every weekend. That's what it feels like recently. Maybe that's not true, and maybe they'll go, "Oh, we're not going to do one on Christmas. That's insanity," and they'll actually back off for Christmas and New Year's Eve.
I don't know about that,
but they seem to be going real hard with the battle hardens, which is cool that there's always something to do and always something to watch. And that's great. By the way, that's great for organized sport. Having something to watch every weekend is how you create like people who watch religiously, right? So
Yeah, like me.
yeah, I
Anytime I can
enjoyed
find
my
coverage, I'm
Sunday,
watching it.
and my Sunday was great.
I was at work on Sunday, but
I
if my boss worked on Sunday, I definitely would have gotten in trouble because I had it pulled up on YouTube on my laptop at work.
I technically worked a
Uh,
little bit on Sunday too, but it was definitely only half dressed watching watching the Realm Rumble. All right, before we get to the Realm Rumble though, we've got some new spoilers. Some
yeah, we got a
exciting
couple of new
ones,
Ranger
too.
cards.
Yeah, Ranger
So
stuff.
it's weird that Azalea didn't see the spike that we were talking about,
I
as
wanted
in
to
the
say
market
something,
minute.
but I
I
didn't
was
want to
expecting her to go up.
Yeah, I was expecting Skullbone Cross Wraps to go up, honestly.
No, and so it actually took me a while to. Well, I mean, reading comments as well. That new card that we're going to talk about is going to be for Grand Scour Great Bow, right? Or the one
Sand
that's
Scour.
It's still okay.
Sand Scour.
Let's go over it. The flavor of this card is amazing. Like the art,
Oh, yeah,
the
100%.
name is okay. Judge, Jury, Executioner. 1 cost, red, 3 block, 5 attack. So it's kind of in that standard red arrow range. It is a legendary Azalea specialization, so you can only have 1 in the deck, and only if you're Azalea. And the text says if this has an aim counter, it gets when this hits a hero, they discard all but 1 card from their hand.
That is brutal.
Okay, this on hit is spicy. Like it is admittedly very, very spicy. You open up with this arrow, it's dominated, it has the aim counter, it has a pump on it, it gets through, and then they lose the other 2 cards in their hand and get to keep 1. Yeah, I get it.
That may be the most devastating on hit in the game.
No, Red and Ledger's still way worse. Again, it's like if you okay, here's my justification why Red and Ledger is worse. Okay, who does the best with only throwing 1 attack at you in a turn?
Bravo.
Are you going to hit Bravo with this 1 arrow? Probably not. Judge, Jury, and Executioner is probably not going to hit. He's going to block it with his armor. And you only get 1 of them in the deck. And so
you pitch it for second cycle and you throw it second cycle because against Bravo, you know you're going to get to second cycle.
Yes, I like that it gives her options. There's some other problems with it too. It has to have an aim counter, or it's just a strictly worse Blood Rot Pox arrow, right? It doesn't have the aim counter on it. So that means you have to either have something that puts an aim counter on it, or you have to flip it off the top and use Crow's Nest to give it the aim counter. So that's already an issue unless you're using Sand Scour Great Bow, which is why we mentioned maybe it's better in Sand Scour Great Bow because of the aim counter text. And the other issue is it doesn't do anything on turn 0 except like kind of attack the amount of cards you have in the deck. You can maybe kill a combo piece out of someone's hand, but they still get to draw back up to their full hand size. Where if you hit someone with a Red and Ledger on turn 0, ouch. Like that is always the worst feeling when you're an aggro deck and you say second and they go, well, dominated Red and the Ledger. Great, here we go.
Yeah, that hurts. Can confirm that hurts.
Yeah. It's not supposed to replace Red in the Ledger.
I've heard but people, you always have to compare things to the opportunity cost. What arrow do you take out of Azalea's deck when you put this in? Would you take Blood Rot Pox arrow out? And my answer is maybe not.
I mean, I definitely think you can work this into your deck. I mean, for second cycle, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, especially against any deck that's going to try and wall Azalea too, trying to set up a pitch stack where you know you're going to be able to pay for the aim counter. I mean, you could always pitch some kind of a frailty buff. You set the hand up with the blue. Like, it's going to reward that kind of setup.
There's some cool stuff about it too. Like, here's some cool stuff you could do with it. You could start a turn with it to like kind of eat cards out of their hand. So like you start with it, it hits. They have to discard 2 cards. You break Snapdragons, and then you get to throw a couple other attacks that they can't block either, because they don't have any cards in their hand. So that's pretty fun. It's also
if that card hits, it's
she has Knock the Death Whistle. So any card that you only have 1 of, you technically have 4 opportunities to see it.
Yeah.
Also Codex.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Codex.
She could totally Codex it and just give it a name counter because it's face up and right.
I could see Codexing against this with Bravo can be really frustrating. Because you really just want to like take the hit and throw something big, and this says you have to block with a card plus gear over and over and over again until you're out of gear. It's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's really well balanced.
That's why Stamp Authority exists, and it's just a 5-hit. Doesn't matter anymore. Stamp Authority. Telling you, no relevant on hits ever. Just damage.
That's true.
See, I think it's gonna be cool. It's definitely something that I'm excited for. I don't even play Azalea, but not. I mean, I may start picking up the bits and pieces here and there.
You guys saw my Azalea background for a while. Seek and Destroy. You know, I'm in that Azalea scope.
So our other Ranger card isn't a specialization, but it feels like one. It's called
Sorta, yeah.
Reel In. It's a
specialization.
It's a blue no block. The no block I feel is problematic, but it's
Not
an
that
X
guy's
cost. Look at the top X+1 cards of your deck. Choose up to 4 traps. Reveal them. Put them into your hand. Then shuffle. Reload. And it's an instant.
Is it an instant?
Yeah. It's
okay.
An instant.
Well then it doesn't. Yeah.
So of
I
course it's an
think this card is potential to be like a weird, almost wizard-like combo at the end of the game, where you're playing Riptide, you hit them with an invigorating shot, and you have a pitch stack, and you suddenly go, take 6 damage from traps. Good game. Bye. Seems okay, but I don't know if combo Riptide will ever be a thing. I do like the card a lot, though.
This to me is like, I mean, it's going to be good, I think, in a multitude of situations. But I mean, you sit this in your arsenal. You got a weird dead hand where maybe you need more blocking power. Maybe you're getting smacked around. Like, maybe you're not a whole full trap tide. You're a hybrid build. You've been pitching some of your traps for second cycle. Maybe your opponent's playing around your traps, not turn. And this one turn they're going in. This allows you to pitch some dead cards, bring some traps up, block efficiently. I mean, and still get chip damage in. I really like it. I think it's versatile. It being an instant, I think, is what obviously makes it really good. And it combos well with his reload, with the trenching cards out. I think it's awesome.
It does allow you... I mean, the reload text doesn't mean anything, really, to Riptide. Unless you're playing it from Arsenal. If you play it from hand, Riptide gets to put a trap into his arsenal anyway. I just think it will be funny. We might see some meme decks where people start playing with Riptide and they try to get you down to like sub 10 and then just kill you with a couple reel ins.
It might be interesting. I really like the fact that it's only 1 X though. So you can just pitch 1 blue card and search the top 4 cards of your deck. And you can turn this non-blocking instant into whatever trap you happen to find. Because you can play it at instant speed in response to an attack and then go to defense reactions and play your trap. I mean, that seems pretty good.
Wait.
I mean, this feels pretty cool.
I think it's also neat because it does allow you to shuffle your deck. So if your pitch stack is like screwed up because you're playing Riptide, and that can happen sometimes where you're just like, oh god, I had to pitch like 6 traps in a row. I'm going to brick my entire game plan soon.
Doesn't this effectively give him a 7-card hand from Arsenal if he hits all 4 traps? It doesn't say he says it puts all 4.
It does. He does get all of those cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you find 4 traps out of however many cards you reveal, you get 4 more cards in your hand.
And yeah, you can zap someone for 8 damage, or I think like the kind of like the theoretical maximum is around 10 because you get to do 2 of the traps that if you don't pay 1, deal 2.
Yeah, there are 2 of those traps. But
you do like 2 of those, and like
what's his widest hand? Like where he has a bad mana curve where he needs to fix it, and he gets traps to just pitch for extra value.
You play Cheerios with Riptide most of the time, or close to it.
New Horizon, right?
Usually, a lot of New Horizon builds I've seen on Riptide. Very good combo between those 2 and his reload ability. But no, I mean, I don't know, like that's kind of neat, especially on those pay 1 or take 2 traps. But I just think that's kind of cool. It gives him a wider hand. It gives him maybe an ability to push for damage, still hold back some defense. I feel like you get the traps out of your deck early if you want to get a better second cycle and no trap. I
feel like between though your like 3 legendary specializations, 3 blue reel ends, and 3 blue invigorating shots, and maybe like 3 blue Bolton shots. You almost have all the blues you'd ever want in a Riptide deck.
Riptide's getting pretty heavy on the blues at this point.
But
I mean,
I've also saw like someone post a screenshot of like a 15 turn game where they only pitched 1 card.
Okay then.
Yeah, it was like a Cheerios Riptide, and the only resources he ever needed was off of Trench.
Okay then. I need to see this screenshot.
Yeah, I'll see. I think it was in the Card Guys Discord, but it was pretty entertaining. All right. I think that's all for spoilers. I think it's just gonna be 1 or 2 a week for several weeks.
Yeah, is Pheno's next week?
Man,
Are
I
we
hope
getting
it's
one
soon.
next
I
week?
really want to see if Prism's going to be spicy or not. I should buy cards, but I'll just rely on Noah. I'm sure he's got all of. I don't need the fancy angels. I'm sure he's got.
I have most of the
low tech copies of all the other angels.
the figments. Yeah.
All right, skirmish results.
Tournament results.
Dang, how is Ira gone too? What the heck?
Well, that happens when you get 190 something LL points over the course of 3 weeks.
There goes what I was saying about her maybe not being able to.
The writing was on the wall. Like she was doing well against a meta with chain in it. She was still picking up some wins. She's definitely going to destroy. Dude, if we've ever seen a format depowered more than Blitz has been depowered in this skirmish season, I don't think it's existed in any card game. This is the biggest depowering we've ever seen.
I don't know if it's been depowered because if you look at the Living Legend leaderboard, Ira just went out with 196 points. The next hero at the top of the list now is Dash with 363, who picked up 132 points this season. Dorinthia picked up 52, Briar picked up 128, and Bravo picked up 124. That's a lot of winning, even after Chain and them left.
Skirmish is pretty wide.
But
It's still crazy.
Obviously, Chain leaving the meta has opened the door.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The points would not be as prolific, and Kasai was probably holding some of them back. And so I think depowered in the sense that they brought that ceiling down, but now that playing floor is a little more equal. I mean, if you go down at the bottom, you saw that Data Doll picked up points.
I'm gonna make
Emperor
a miracle Data
points.
Doll deck.
Dash database picked up points. A lot of decks Arachne picked up 2 wins. Decks are picking up wins. Decks that you probably wouldn't think would be picking up wins.
Solitary Confinement, right? The one that has hero text.
Hold on now. They both have hero text. I don't know why you're selling the other right. You keep selling that Arachne
Solitary
short.
Confinement has picked up 0 this skirmish season.
Wait, so
regular Arachne picked up 3 wins.
Wow.
There you go.
Regular Arachne picked up 3 wins. 12 LL points.
That
I wonder if it's like one guy
killer.
went to 3 different weekends and scooped up points.
I mean, maybe.
Killing it. Professional.
I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, that's who you need to talk to, Noah, so you can get your favorite hero rolling.
I'm gonna play Arachne.
I mean, you've been a lifelong Arachne main, right?
Since before Arachne was even conceived. They were talking about, the sort of proto base for that hero, and I was already in there. I was already riding
back
that
when you
train.
worked for LSS.
Back when I worked for them, top secret.
Yeah.
No, I think Arachne's great. Don't sell that contract short.
I'm kind of glad I didn't have to go to skirmish on Sunday because the only deck I had ready was Levia. I'm glad
Benji picked up 20 points. That's crazy. Tell me Benji's bad all the time.
Just Ira at home. She's just
Ira. Ira at home.
It's Ira with 2 less life.
That works.
No, she is just worse Ira. Like straight up. Like 2 less life for almost the same hero power. But I'm glad I didn't have to try to go force a win with Levia or just win a random Teklo core. I did have to sell my soul and play Teklovos and Fatigue at the sealed event though.
Everybody did.
It was
every
all Teklovosins except for a couple.
Everybody was.
Yeah, everyone was kind of Fatigue focused, but I think that's.
I was the only Max. I'm pretty sure, and
no,
I
you were
think
not
somebody
the only
switched
Max.
it. Was that?
Yeah.
There's one more Max.
There's either 1 or 2 more, but there were no dashes, which is sad. I wanted to play dash.
3 Fatigue Teklo. I fatigued both Teklos until the last one, but I bricked on all red hands on all 3 matches. I had so many reds for my sealed pool, so many that I had multiple all red hands, and as max, I wanted to cry. No, if there was hyperdrivers out, but there was like,
Yeah, you had to keep those hyperdrivers rolling.
It was rough.
All right, so Realm Rumble was this past weekend. There was a 20K and a 10K event.
Big stuff.
Huge event.
What a cool event.
Yeah.
And this felt like we were watching Pro Tour all over again.
Yeah, this wasn't just Flesh and Blood either. Let's be clear. It was like a celebration of trading card games, period. Of course, we're Flesh and Blood nerds. That's what we're excited about. And I watched it almost all weekend. I didn't watch a lot Saturday because I was participating in the skirmish. And that was another reason I was happy to just be home on Sunday and watch top 8. How many players entered? It was a smaller event still, 112.
Well, it was
players.
an invitational.
That's right. It was an invitational.
It was an invitational.
Yeah, Charmer put up at that Charmer on Twitter posted a count that he had gotten as he walked around the tables of the breakdown of the meta, and when I added up all of those numbers, it came out to 112. But I think they said on stream at some point that it was 115 players. So I'm not sure which is more accurate, but yeah, it was it's either 112 or 115, and the top 5 heroes were Bravo with 17, Dromai with 14 players, Dash Inventor Extraordinaire with 13 players, Phi had 12 people, and then Katsu and Kano were both tied with 8 players each.
And that's the crazy statistic. Literally, they last hero.
That's nuts.
Don't disrespect the Wizards.
No, you can't.
Not anymore. Not after this
time.
weekend. Everybody thought that you could get away with not running AB because Icelander's gone. But yeah,
I think
clearly some people did.
I think some of the Kanos like feasted on each other because I think they got paired up a few times because they were actually doing quite well. I think all of the Kanos were doing well.
I mean, there had to be because there was one in the 20K top 8 and then there was one in the 10K top 8. So yeah, Kano had a good weekend.
Like, what?
Katsu
changed?
not so much though.
Why is it because people disrespecting Arcane because Icelander's gone? Is that what it was? That has to be what it is.
Well, no, because Justin was that one Kano, who's a prolific Kano player, was telling me, and I mean, I think he told you as well at the scrimmage that there's 2 builds floating around that are actually entirely different, and they're all kind of focused a different way. And so, especially the one that Justin was showing with these D-reacts, he's well more suited to doing chip damage.
I think it's actually 3 builds, or it might even be 4 different.
That's
archetypes.
the problem. So there's the explosive, I'm going to combo you, and then there's more reserved ones that are coming out now. He's been showing me pictures of him just demolishing Dories. Because obviously we think we want to play fast, no AB, let's just go. You have it. But there's so many D-reacts in that it's almost a stalled chip battle, and he's happy to play it and set up.
And there's like Bolander version.
Right. People are constantly. So I think people are getting blindsided that, if it's Kano, just run the AB, but no, it's not that. Like I think people are starting to get bamboozled a little bit, and he's been saying, well, I'm going to go bring this list. He's got the other Kano people bringing another list. The point is to try and actually confuse people. And so I'm going to tell you right now, you have to plan for Kano. I just can't tell you what Kano to plan for because I don't think bringing AB is simply enough, but not bringing it is probably a destiny.
No, you got to know how to play into Kano if you want to win against Kano.
And the thing is, you have to bring something, because if you don't bring any AB, you're right. Let's put it this way: if your deck is built around blocking at all, Kano's going to beat you, because you're probably not able to actually fully utilize your entire hand, where Kano is fully utilizing his entire hand every turn. So even though his cards come across as less damage overall, unless he's comboing, he's still using his entire hand and you're not.
The counter for that is obviously you don't want to sell too much out to a deck that's going to be 8 represented. Granted, I know it's a real threat, but like I know what I would side if I wanted to solely focus against Kano, but then I literally have to devote spaces I need for Bravo. I mean, like just speaking particularly as a Dory player, which is what I really am, even though I
I
say
mean,
I'm
wouldn't
every main in
Tunic,
the world.
Oasis, Respite be decent versus Bravo too?
Yeah, but I mean, do you really want to run Oasis Respite? You know, because it's not really that good in any of the other matchups. Like I don't really want it
It's
against
also good
Stromae,
against Azalea.
And Azuri.
I guess. Right?
It's a good sideboard card. Go figure.
It is a good sideboard.
It's good if you run Tunic.
Yeah.
So the top eight,
Which is
was actually kind of representative of the meta, with a little bit of an exception. There were two Dash
North
Veteran
American
Extraordinaires, one Bravo, one Kano, one Azalea, one Bolton, one Levia, and one Dromai. And the Levia was my man and one of my favorite people in the whole community, Ethan Van Sant, aka Mansant. And dude, it's just so much fun watching him. And he was just wearing that offensive beanie.
oh, dude, Grandma Sant.
That beanie was awesome.
I
loved that hat. I need to, Manzant, if you somehow end up watching this, which I doubt you actually watch our show, but I'd appreciate it if you did. If you actually will contact me and let me know where to find a beanie like that, I will buy one and wear it on the stream.
It was so weird.
Let me know where I can get one. That was awesome. Big brain.
Dude.
Big brain beanie, dude.
So top 8 was extremely entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And I was cheering for Dash, obviously, because I'm a Dash simp. But I was also cheering for Mansant because I'm also a Levia simp. And man, I don't know how Michael Hamilton didn't flip the table at some point. Dude, and I was even okay. I was watching this game, and let's kind of put some perspective on the game. It's Bravo versus Levia. The Bravo opens up with a pretty good Starstruck, and it's dominated. And so he's just like one card in front of it. Okay, let's move on. And then it comes up next turn. He throws a Crippling Crush, not dominated. And I'm like, he's just going to throw his cards in front of it. Why would you husk a non-dominated Crippling Crush? He husks it. And not only that, he boots it. He husking boots. Husking boots a non-dominated Crippling Crush. I'm like, okay, man, Sant, you better be ready to go. And boy, howdy, was Mansant ready to go, because he did not stop for like the next 12 turns.
Yeah.
He played like his entire hand the next 12 turns, and he has his little dice tower, and he handed the D6 to Michael Hamilton, and Michael Hamilton started, he did a 6, a 6, a 4, a 4, a 6, and then a 4, and then finally he rolled a 1, and then re-rolled it into another 2 action points after that.
Wow.
Dude, he did not get a break. I would have, at some point, I would have just stopped rolling the dice.
After the second
Ethan,
6.
Ethan, you gotta roll a dice, man. Dude, I know you play well every time, but you always get screwed over by the dice, and it's because you're the one rolling it. I'm not rolling any more dice.
I mean, that's apparently Manzan has figured out the trick. If you're up against the world champion or the former world champion, you've got to have the former world champion use their luck to help you out.
Right.
I mean, you got to tap into that world champion luck.
The stream comments are like, where can I buy that dice tower?
No, it's not the dice tower. You just got to have Michael Hamilton come by and roll the dice for your game.
Dude,
I mean, that's it. Just come by, random stranger, pick it up.
There was so much discipline in that game, too, after throwing his armor at a non-dominated Crippling Crush, which I was just like, what the heck? I think that next turn was like his double Blood Rush Bellow turn, so he did have
something
a turn. Like that. But there was so much discipline in the rest of the game on how he managed everything, and like there's even time he took a ton of blood debt and decided not to go consumed, and he's at like 9 now with 14 blood debt. At one point he was at like sub 13 with 11 blood debt, and that's always like really scary, right? At any point you instantly dead. And I'm just butterflies in my stomach watching this deck perform at the highest level over and over and over again, and just knowing it's Levia. She could implode at any moment. And then
it was nice seeing Manzan get a breakout tournament. It's nice seeing him on the other side of the camera, because he always does such really great work with Savage Feats and the broadcast that they put out. But it was great. It was absolutely great seeing him have that breakout performance that he very much deserves after being a Levia main for probably the whole
And,
life of the hero at this point, right?
and I'm sold on Tear Limb from Limb. You know, like if you think
Yep.
about it, it's Wild Ride but blue. It's the same damage output. It can't block anyway, but it's blue. I'm playing that card from now on. I don't know about all the other tech he does. We have different ideas on how Leviah is played, but I'm sold on Tear Limb from Limb. That card's great. The fact that it also turns on claws, so good. Who else had interesting matchups? I know I really enjoyed all the Dash matchups I watched. Those are very mathematical games. I didn't get to watch a lot of the Kanos play. I kept missing them.
Yeah, same here. Like I said, I was at work, so I didn't get to watch all of the games, but there was enough time for me to watch Brody's game start and then come back, and it was still the same turn. I want to say it was like a little while. It took me a little while to go do some stuff, but nothing against Brody. But I feel like the judge staff needs to step in at some point and say, okay, we need to take a game action soon.
So I
I mean,
think
I know it's untimed, but still.
I think once it's in top 8, it should be up to the players. That's my opinion, unless they want to put something in the rules that there is a turn timer. Not
I don't
really
know
a
if we wanna
game
put a
timer,
turn-
but you could only spend this much time on a single turn.
What for context? Because I particularly now I have read
Brody
about
takes
this.
it once Brody gets in the top 8, he takes very long time deciding his turn. And a lot of people will say it's really simple actions and stuff, but there's so many decision points and so many things that you think about, and you're trying to maybe lock in memories on what cards you're putting into your pitch and all of that. And there's no timer on top 8, so why don't you take as much time as you need? And then there's like comments on how often you should be able to look at someone's graveyard and how long you could spend looking at someone's graveyard and yada yada yada. Unless they're
Yeah, I
going to put it
get
in the
that
rule
there's a
book,
lot on the
though.
line. There is a lot on the line, and he's not technically in the wrong, but it's just a feels bad, especially for covered games like that, games that are on stream like that. I mean, we're just sitting there waiting on something to
Yeah.
progress the game state.
You watched
Well-
the casters kind of like completely like lost track of it at one point because it just one turn had taken so long. I could
Mhm.
see an issue, but it should be in the rule book that if they should say, even if it's just a suggested time, how long you should be allowed to take a turn, where you don't like get a GRV, a game rules violation for exceeding it, but that's the point where the judge no longer has to have a player raise their hand, where the judge will now has like a time on his timer where he goes, you need to continue the game.
I mean, and I've seen a lot of discussions surrounding this on Twitter and I guess various places about how much time is too much time, and it is an untimed event. I mean, but it's a complicated card game, and I've had a lot of I've seen a lot of things that it's both people's times, right? It's obviously the person who got theirs time to sit at the top 8 and play their untimed match and play at the best of their ability, and it's also kind of an inconvenience to everybody else because everybody else's time as well. I get it. There's a little bit of a give and take. I mean, I don't think anybody should spend 30 minutes on a block. It might be the most critical block in the world that you probably do need to spend 30 minutes on. Maybe that is excessive. But I mean, look at some of the chess games. I mean, I put this card game akin to
Chess games are time, my man.
They are, but they're 3 hours, 4 hours long. What I'm saying is there are times where somebody will literally get up and eat a banana for 2 hours, and that's all you see is the same position for 2 hours while he goes and walks around.
No. It's different because they gave up a resource. They spent 2 hours that they're not going to get back at some point later in the chess game. Time is very much.
Most flesh and blood games are not going to go 2 hours. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I'm saying when you compare it to chess, though, that would be like using a card that's out of your deck forever. That's what using time in chess is. So it's not a fair.
Run along the same lines, though. What would be an adequate amount of time for a top 8 game where you feel both parties have enough time?
I think
2 hours. Start at 2 hours. Is 2 hours too much?
I'm not saying necessarily put a timer on it because I think 2 hours is too long for a game. That's just too long.
I agree.
I think there should just be a suggested turn timer, at which point the judge doesn't have to be invited to make a comment. So it could be 5 minutes where the judge is no longer has to be, because I think at any point you could say, judge, if their person's taking too long and you think they're not progressing the game state, they're not clearly thinking about it. You could call a judge at any point and say, hey, they're not progressing the game state. Can you suggest to them they continue the game along? I think there should maybe just be they're running a stopwatch at the beginning of every turn, and after 5 minutes, if nothing has changed, they go, please move the game along. They don't have to be invited to it. We don't need any more of that drama.
But if at any point you do that, you technically are saying now there's a time on a game space that isn't timed. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I understand what people want. People want a rules change because you can't just make.
I don't know if it's that
by
extreme.
Right, you can't physically make somebody act in an environment that literally has no time limit.
Okay.
So because then you could just be that guy where you every 3 minutes you're like, Judge, I make a game.
How do you fix it though? Because you can't really have a game time because a draw is not an acceptable result in top 8. A draw on time. A draw on time is not an acceptable result in top 8. It's just not.
So then I do think then they should be timed, but there should just be a lot of time. There needs to be a resource. But would it be an
individual timer? Because it can't go to draw, so it has to be an individual timer.
Okay, so how about some kind of like a thing they do in poker with like time banks and stuff? You have like a personal time bank. After 5 minutes, you start dipping into a personal time bank. I don't know. You'd have to get some crazy consensus agreed upon time where everybody says, yeah, that's enough time to consider a turn. Because some people are going to say 5 minutes is way too long. You need to start dipping in that time bank earlier. So either you make the whole thing timed and you say it's an hour and a half or 50, 90 minutes, whatever, however you want to do it, or you keep it untimed.
I think you have to keep it untimed.
And you just know that when you're playing against Brody, he wants to take his time. I sit there and stare at my opponent for 5 minutes and say, I'm sorry. Well, I weigh out blocks. Like, I don't mean to do it, but I'm not going to make the wrong play when there's 86 different decision trees and I want to know what 2 cards I'm supposed to keep to react. Like it's tough. I understand that's kind of maybe
in a top 8 situation like that, there's a lot of money on the line as well.
And Brody Spurlock did win it. So the time he's spending is resulting in win percentage for him.
It is a give and take, and I feel like that person, maybe you go faster on ones where you're sold on it, and those longer ones, like there has to be some kind of give and take.
Clearly, he's winning games in 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's only top 8 where it's like you noted, right, that he takes too long.
In no way, shape, or form is he doing it on purpose. It's just
I'm very much the rules are the rules, and they're the way they are because draw is unacceptable in top 8, especially because first round top 8, someone draws. I guess the next person in the bracket gets a bye into the into the finals. Like what's
it would be weird.
Yeah, so you gotta have it. You gotta get a natural game result. The only way you're gonna get a natural game result is to either give players individual clocks where they have to forfeit if they run their clock out, or you have to just give them an unlimited clock to finish the game naturally. Anyway, we've now run long based on that discussion.
Oh no,
it's okay. So Brody picked up another PTI. He's got a ton of them. And
congratulations, Brody.
Yeah, congratulations, Brody, and congratulations to Michael Fang for picking up
Michael Fang as well. Yeah,
first place at the 10K, which had a fairly similar balance of heroes in the top 8. It was Bolton, 2 Dromeyes, Levia, Phi, Bravo, Azalea, and Kano. Almost sounds the same, just missing the dashes.
Yep, you replaced the 2 dashes with a Phi and a Dromeye.
Really diverse top.
I mean, Bolton on 10K.
I had
actually, I had it up.
Hold on now. It was Eli Bird.
Interesting. Two different Bolton players had very good success. I think Yuki was the one in top 8 from the 20K.
Yes, for the 20K.
And she was killing it. She did a Lumina Boomina combo so large that at one point the casters was like, I lost count. I think it came out to 41 damage. It was quite the Lumina Boomina.
Oh, that's gross.
And then her top 8 game was brutal. She was just getting beat down and just couldn't get enough space to get back into the game. I think it was against Brody. Ouch.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was against Brody. I think at one point she lost a Arsenal card that was her 3rd Lumina. She lost it to I think Seek and Destroy. Oof. Or an Inertia, one or the other. It was tough. And then we also had Battle Hardened Bangkok, which I did not look at any of the coverage on that.
Yeah, I missed that one completely.
I did. I was watching it. It was fun.
3 Katsu.
Yeah,
That's crazy. 3 Katsu, 2 Azalea, 2 Bravo, 1 Leviat. Leviat's doing it. I've been saying that. Leviat's a little slower, and she doesn't
It's
have
about
to
time
worry
for Humble
about
to go back up.
Lexi.
get those carrying husks. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Pick up
block
those carrying
6.
husks.
Um,
No, yeah, the Battle
I
Hardened
did see
Bangkok
one
was
moment.
great.
I did see one moment in the Battle Hardened. It was the very last turn of the finals, which I thought was kind of cool because the winner, Bravo, Pongrat W, and followed by a long list of other letters in his name that I am not gonna try to pronounce, won the tournament with a Crater Fist activation to end the game against Azalea.
was it necessary or was it styling?
I think it was style points. I think it was just style points.
I have the extra pitch. Here it comes.
Yep, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That Bravo like actually picked up a win, because we keep seeing Bravos do okay but sputter out and get kind of beat out.
Michael Fang was playing Bravo too, so that's two Bravo wins.
Yeah, 2
over the
Bravo
weekend.
wins.
Yeah, and Azaleas are there as well. It was an Azalea v Bravo in that Battle Harden, and who had to go through some Katsus, which that matchup is quite fun to watch. I've seen it go both
looking
ways.
at these top 8s, there are clear stronger heroes, and it is clear that older Flesh and Blood is still a little stronger than a lot of the newer Flesh and Blood that's been printed. But the meta is extremely open.
Yeah.
So,
play what you like.
Yeah, play what you like.
I think this is a play what you like meta for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still this like line that's kind of cut right at Uprising. But I think you could play any hero. You just need to be a specialist.
Yeah, I agree. We got anything else that we want to talk about?
I think that's our show. We've got Battle Hardened Orlando coming up this weekend. I might go. It's kind of up in the air. So I'll have...
Let me know how you do with that. I'll be traveling.
A lot of the Georgia people are going, so I'll at least be able to get some firsthand accounts from them, even if I don't go, about like how all that went down. So we'll have that to discuss next week.
Yeah, best of luck, because I definitely am not going. I got too much going on.
I'll be in a whole new background next week in a storage room. It'll be fun. You'll get to see a bunch of random things behind me, so it'll be neat. I'll be on the scene in
next
California.
week. You got to start the broadcast with like duct tape over your mouth and then rip it off right when we start.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know I'm being held. I'll have the lights flicker on and off for a little bit. I'll have somebody come bang on. It'll be good. We'll sell the whole thing. But no, I'll be back at my hometown of California for a little bit. I'll be back here New Year's, so I'll be doing my stuff out there, and I'll bring some packs with me. I'll still be doing content. I'll probably buy some stuff out there. It's just an excuse. I didn't bring enough. Oh no, I'm selling it now for later.
Make sure you bring your deck so you can go play it in LGS out there. See if you get recognized. That'd be fun.
So I will miss you. I don't have anyone to ride with me to Armories.
But, I know we won't be able to listen to our Dungeon Crawler Carl. Trust me, it makes me.
Yeah, you're gonna miss. You only have like an hour left in the book, and you're gonna have to wait weeks to hear it.
But anyway, you know what? That's what makes it so good.
Where can people find you on the internet, Noah?
At Big Max Fab on Twitter, technically on YouTube. It's still twitch.tv/LusoHeavy. But Twitch is pretty much gone for right now until we figure out this YouTube stuff, which is coming as we reach our 100 subscriber. But I'm working on some YouTube scenes and stuff that is going to be homogenized amongst all of us. It's going to have some cool effects. I'm hoping for some top-notch effects and fun stuff. And then we're going to get live and into YouTube and doing whatever, pack openings, people playing Talistar, whatever we can do, just to kind of add more fun to the pot.
And where can we find you, Donnie?
Same stuff, different place every week. I am Draco Hominis 87 on Twitter, on Discord, and any other social media you might want to try to look me up on. Look me up as Draco Hominis 87. On fabric.gg, you can find the articles that I write for the FabDad series and several other different things, coverage reviews. You can look me up as Donnie K.
You on
Draco Hominis 87 everywhere else.
MySpace?
Not in many, many years. Back when it
Well,
first came out, I was on MySpace, but not in many years have I looked at MySpace.
And you could find me at Wet the System Fab. And if you see Wet the System anywhere on the internet, it's probably me.
where is it?
It's
All right,
probably
well,
me.
that's
It's a
our
really
show.
obscure Halo reference. Anyway, thank you to our patrons and everyone supporting us. Thank you, everyone
Thank you
who's
so
Much
much, guys.
appreciated.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week, and if you did, subscribe or follow depending on where you found us to catch us again next time. Until then, take care of yourself, and remember, we are all siblings in cardboard.
Discard your cards. Take them, put them in the grave.